Chapter 4, Wisdom in Action. Really good chapter about how the goal of all action is wisdom and action is service. So let's go through it a little bit. Like I'll highlight my main points from all the verses and then we'll do a little summary at the end. So again, Krishna reminds Arjun, my true being is unborn and changeless. I am the Lord who dwells in every creature. Once again, the self of like yourself is Krishna. Krishna is speaking as the creator, as the self of all beings. So he says, I dwell in every creature. I am the self of all beings. This is again and again so important to recognize. There is no separation between like what you call yourself and that eternal principle that Krishna represents. Dissolving the seeming separation between me and life, me and God, is the spiritual path. And we must do so not only intellectually, but truly in our experience. So, my true being is unborn and changeless. You can say that about yourself. Krishna says, I am the Lord who dwells in every creature. So, that's like carry that conviction with you on the spiritual path that your true being, your true self is God, Krishna, the Supreme. So Krishna says, those who know me as their own divine self break through the belief that they are the body and are not reborn as separate creatures. Delivered from selfish attachment, fear, and anger, filled with me, surrendering themselves to me, purified in the fire of my being, many have reached that state of unity in me. So that's the state of unity with Krishna, with your real self. What is blocking that? What is an obstacle to that? Selfish attachment, fear, anger. So we have to uproot these impurities from the mind which divide, and we have to become filled with the Lord. Notice how we're doing that with self-inquiry meditation, right? Rather than awareness of things, rather than constantly being immersed in thoughts about myself and the world, we are letting go of that and we are becoming filled with the awareness of the Lord, right? The awareness of self. And through our meditation, we come to really truly understand and see that myself is the supreme. Myself is Krishna. It is the self or truth that I seek. It is not somewhere over there. It is here and now. It is what I know as my own self. Beyond the idea I have of myself, it is my real being. So that's in a way how to be in this life. Free from selfish attachment, fear, anger, and always in surrender to the Lord. Surrender purifies us in the fire of His being, our being. Krishna says, I am myself changeless and beyond all action. Actions do not cling to me because I am not attached to their results. That is actually a beautiful way, like representation of how we must be in this life. Don't wait to become like Krishna. Don't wait to become like the self. Be as the self is now. Strive to be as the self is. So I have written here in my book, You become like he is when you also let go of selfish attachment. What makes us like we are, people, human beings with needs, is constant me and mine, selfish attachment. So when we start to live our life and act without selfish attachment, we start to recognize our true nature as the self. That's why I always say in all of our talks, the practice is to learn how to see as the self sees, be as the self is. So he says, those who understand this and practice it live in freedom. Notice how he didn't say they wait for freedom. Knowing those who understand this and practice it live in freedom. We have to come to experience that. All of this at one point was conceptual for me, but I have found that the more I have devoted myself to it and practiced it, the more I have come to understand it and really experience it. So he says, knowing this truth, aspirants desiring liberation in ancient times engaged in action. So they did not leave life behind, they engaged in action. And he tells Arjun that you can do the same, pursuing an active life in the manner of those ancient sages. So live an active life and do your duty, do your work without selfish attachment. And then it will no longer, then your work and your personal life will no longer be an obstacle to your spiritual growth. So this is a very interesting verse here. Verse 18, he says, the wise see that there is action in the midst of inaction and inaction in the midst of action. There's a beautiful teaching on non doership. Their consciousness is unified and every act is done with complete awareness. So we can actually like turn this around. Again, we have to stop fantasizing about how these wise sages think and believe and act in life. And now Krishna is telling us how they are, right? So we have to strive to be like that which he is describing. We have to strive to be like the wise that he is talking about. In doing so, we come to know our real being and be united with Krishna. So we have to unify our consciousness, meaning let go of being so scattered. We have to, through self awareness, right? He says every act is done with complete awareness. So, like right now, be here, carry out whatever you are doing with complete awareness. It will never be perfect. Trust me. The practice is going to be difficult, but like that is what we must strive towards. The striving itself is what brings grace, which makes the practicing easier and more accomplishable. So strive to act with complete awareness, meaning being present to what is being done. And then we come to see how, even in action, we are totally still, right? And so he says, the wise see that there is action in the midst of inaction and inaction in the midst of every action. A dance between movement and stillness, simultaneously present. So even when the wise act, they are really not acting. It's just the movement of the gun, the movement of objects. So there's non-doership and doership, and doership and non-doership. So this next verse, verse 19, is even more profound. The awakened sages call a person wise when all his undertakings are free from anxiety about results. So, with this first statement, just notice how anytime we try to do anything and embark on any new endeavor, how filled we are with, oh, how will it turn out? Will I succeed? How will others perceive of me? What if it fails? What is my backup plan? What is this? What is that? So much anxiety and attachment. about the results. Krishna says the awakened sages call a person wise when his undertakings are free from anxiety about results. All his selfish desires have been consumed in the fire of knowledge. All his selfish desires have been consumed in the fire of knowledge. Don't wait to be like this. Strive to be like this starting now. The wise, ever satisfied, have abandoned all external supports. This doesn't mean you have to renounce anything on the outside, but renounce your tendency to derive a sense of security and support from things you believe in, from material possessions, from the money in your bank account or the state of your body. These are all flimsy foundations. They cannot, they are not your real forms of support. Your only form of support is the Lord within. All of these other external things, they can be taken away from you. Even your beliefs can be shattered. But that which dwells within you cannot, cannot be taken away even through death. I was reading actually another text today, the Dhammapada, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but it's the main Buddhist text. And it's interesting how even in that text, the Buddha continues to emphasize how selfish desire, selfish attachment, selfish action is the obstacle to wisdom. Not only the obstacle to wisdom, but also the cause of suffering. So it's crazy how, texts written in such different eras, such different times, by those who have transcended the veils of illusion, all the sages bring us the same message. Knowing this, do not doubt the validity of this message. Have faith in the teachings of the masters. If you feel a sense of calling to it, feeling a sense of truthfulness in it, believe wholeheartedly the words of the masters as the word of God and follow in their footsteps. We must. That is our duty. That is our dharma in this life. That is our greatest dharma in this life, beyond anything personal. So, the wise, ever satisfied, have abandoned all external supports. Their security is unaffected by the results of their action. Even while acting, they really do nothing at all. Their security is unaffected by the results of their action. Even while acting, they really do nothing at all. Free from expectations and from all sense of possession, with mind and body firmly controlled by the self, they do not incur sin by the performance of physical action. So you can see that like acting with attachment to result binds you to karma. It creates more karma. When you are attached to the fruits of your labor, attached to your actions, the results of your actions, then you are bound to experiencing the consequences of your action, meaning you are bound to taste the suffering that it will bring. And all selfish action leads to suffering. This is something we ourselves have to observe. So those who are wise, starting to become free from selfish attachment, on the level of appearance, they will still experience consequences to their actions, right? For everything in the realm of appearance flows in cause and effect, but they will be free from call it the mental consequences. They will not suffer the consequences of their actions, whether they bear pleasant or unpleasant fruit. But such is the nature of selfless action that it never bears the fruit of suffering. It doesn't bear unpleasant fruit. Unpleasant fruit is has its cause in selfish action. Selfless action is beneficial for ourself and the rest of existence. And also, he says, unaffected by the results of their action, even while acting, they really do nothing at all. So you see, doership, but no doership. As we always talk in our meetings and in our surrender lectures in the main course, you you do, you act, right? Because from the personal perspective, it feels like I'm the doer. So you do everything, but don't believe that you are ultimately the doer. Know that you are just carrying out the will of God. So act without a sense of possession, without attachment to the results of your action. And in this way, you grow in the understanding of even non doership. They live in freedom who have gone beyond the dualities of life. Competing with no one, they are alike in success and failure and content with whatever comes to them. They are free without selfish attachments. Their minds are fixed in knowledge. They perform all work in the spirit of service, and their karma is dissolved. Once again, don't we shouldn't look to this as something in the future and something we hope to be one day. This is something we must strive to bring into our actions today, now. Go beyond the dualities of life. Compete with no one. Compare yourself to no one. Be alike in success and failure. Content with whatever comes to you. These are such practical instructions. One who is truly genuine in their search for truth will find themselves able to practice this. So don't entangle yourselves in the hows and the whats. These are such practical instructions. Strive to be like this. They perform all work in the spirit of service. So here, right, we can see that like all work, all action is actually service, service to the whole. And when we know this and when we act accordingly in alignment with this truth, our karma is dissolved. Our mental impressions, the samskaras, they begin to naturally dissolve and they reveal truth, unity. Krishna says Brahman, which is, the supreme reality, Krishna himself, is attained by those who see Brahman in every action. So in every action, Krishna says, right, the process of offering is Brahman, that which is being offered is Brahman. Brahman offers a sacrifice in the fire of Brahman, meaning, in a way, I'll say like this, and I don't know if I'm fully right in doing this, but it's like God is the doer, he's the actor, he is the one who does the action. The process of acting is also God. The person on the other side or whoever is benefiting from it or receiving that action is also God. Everything is Brahman. Knowing this, act selflessly. And so now then Krishna begins to basically describe all these forms of different service that beings render to him. He says some offer material sacrifices to the gods, others offer selfless service, some renounce all enjoyment of the senses, sacrificing them in the fire of self-restraint. Some offer meditation, some offer self-control, Some offer the control of the breath. These are all different paths of yoga that he's describing. So we all have different paths to self-realization that we feel drawn towards. Here in the program in Self-Inquiry School, we really focus deeply on meditation, right? Self-awareness. That is your offering, right? Like that is your, in a way, like your work, your service. And Krishna says that like all these, all this is service to him. And this brings us to our goal. The goal of all action, all service is wisdom, clarity, self-realization. Do it without expectation. Do it without attachment to what it must bring you. In doing so, you'll be purified. One important distinction is that meditation or, breath work or selfless service, all these things, they do not make you realize God. They simply purify the mind. Spiritual practice does not make you realize God. Only God can do that. They help you purify the mind so that God can really help you realize himself. See it in that way. It is the purification of the mind that is needed. The mind, which is worldly and dense and personal, has to be purified of all of its misunderstandings and wrong ideas and wrong motives, which are self-centered, personal self-centered. Because personal self-centeredness, ego, is the cloud which makes realization not possible. No matter how strongly the sun is shining, if the clouds are there, you will not see it. So spiritual practice, all these forms of service, they are the remover of the clouds. And Krishna says, true sustenance is in service, and through it, a man or woman reaches the eternal Brahman. But those who do not seek to serve are without a home in this world. So he says, how can they be at home in any world to come? These offerings, all of this service, it's born of work, and each guides mankind along a path to Brahman. So you see all your work in that way. No matter if you think like your work is small or not spiritual or whatever, it doesn't matter. Any work that you do, whatever your lot is in this life, see that as your service to the Creator, see that as your service to the whole of humanity and also all of existence. Seek to serve, because service is what supports, right? True sustenance is in service rather than constantly wanting things out of life, wondering what life can give to you. Seek to serve, and you will find your place in life, and you will find the happiness you seek. And he says, the offering of wisdom is better than any material offering, for the goal of all work is spiritual wisdom. So if you ever find yourself in a place where like others are coming to you for guidance, or in conversation where someone is open, offer wisdom, help them also spiritually. And actually, one of the best ways to offer wisdom is to embody it. Many people speak the words, but don't embody it. Don't be like those people. Embody the wisdom. Let your words do it too. But as you embody it, you will spread the wisdom. And Krishna says that that is the better than any material offering. And we should be grateful and humbled anytime God gives us the opportunity to share this wisdom with anybody. We certainly shouldn't offer it to anybody who isn't ready or willing. And Krishna will talk about that later in the book as well. But it's someone who displays that readiness and willingness to learn from you. Share it with them. Share the teaching that has flown to you so selflessly. The teaching flows to you not seeking anything for itself. It flows to you to enrich your experience, to help you realize your oneness with the Creator. So you do not own the teaching. Once you understand the teaching, you do not own it. So when you spread the teaching, it is still not yours to give. It is simply flowing through you. That's the way that I see all of my work also. How can I possess these words that come out? How can I say this teaching is mine? Even though maybe when it comes through my mouth, it comes through the filter of my understanding and the workings of my unique little mind. But where is the me and mine in that also? The teaching found me, and now it's just flowing through me. When you are ever find yourself in the role of a teacher or teaching, even in the simplest of interactions, it may not be like formal teaching, but in the simplest of interactions, see it also in that way. It's like it's flowing through you. Don't possess it. It's not yours. It never was. It came to you uninvited, and now it has enriched you as it, has enlivened you, and now it is also flowing through you, through your expression, through your words, through your actions. And be grateful and humbled that it has come to you and has maybe using you as a vehicle to spread itself. So Krishna tells Arjuna that even if you were a sinner in the past, not if you were, yeah, like if you were a sinner in the past, still just practice the teaching. So you see, this is so important. Like, regardless of your past, forget about what you think this path will be. Forget about whether you think you can realize the truth or not, whether you're worthy or not. Practice the teaching without attachment to what it may bring you, without expectation, and see for yourself. He says, as the heat of fire reduces wood to ashes, the fire of knowledge burns to ashes all karma. So all your past sins and wrong deeds are erased through knowledge. Knowledge is gained through practice of the word of God, through the teachings. Those who take wisdom as their highest goal, whose faith is deep and whose senses are trained, attain wisdom quickly and enter into perfect peace. So it is extremely important to make wisdom your highest goal in this life. Because then, that will create singleness of purpose that we talked about in previous lectures, previous chapters. Because he says, but the ignorant, indecisive, and lacking in faith waste their lives. They can never be happy in this world or any other. And then lastly, those established in the self have renounced selfish attachments to their actions and cut through doubts with spiritual wisdom. They act in freedom. So he says, Arjun, cut through this doubt in your own heart with the sword of spiritual wisdom. Arise and take up the path of yoga. Walk the spiritual path. Established in the self, renounce selfish attachments. Funny how many times you will see Krishna say this again and again, because he knows that Arjun, right, a sincere seeker, but still too caught up in the current way of life. He needs to be reminded this again and again. Krishna knows that we need to be reminded this again and again. When he speaks to Arjun, he's speaking to us. Renounce selfish attachments to your action and cut through doubts with spiritual wisdom. Act in freedom. So that is chapter 4, Wisdom in Action. Let's quickly summarize it. So, oops, too big. All right. So, the goal of action is wisdom. Make your highest goal in life the attainment of spiritual wisdom, community with God, realization of your true self. And through that, you'll find the strength to walk this difficult path. And you will find the strength and clarity on how to make your entire personal life, to use your entire personal life as the avenue for spiritual growth. Act in service to the Creator. Do everything that you do in the spirit of service. It could even be mundane, worldly work that you're doing. Do it as service to the Creator. It could be even going through any problem or difficulty or limitation, illness. Go through it as service to the Creator. Do it in the spirit of service. Even make that an offering to Krishna. Be free from selfish attachments, alike in both success and failure. So this goes back to the instruction in chapter 2, and it will come up again and again. Selfish attachment is the obscurer of all wisdom, of all self-knowledge. And two, to be free of selfish attachment, be alike in both success and failure. Act in the spirit of service and be alike in both success and failure, pleasure and pain, ups and downs, good and bad. Arise above the dualities of life and create perfect evenness of mind. And abandon all external supports for a measure of safety and security. Again, this does not mean getting rid of anything. The real renouncement is on the level of the mind. No longer seek safety and security in the things you own, in the money you have, in the state of your body. All of these things are subject to change and they will keep changing. When they are healthy and sufficient, good, enjoy that. It's fine, but still don't source identity and security from them. Know that they are subject to change. So then when they do change, and if they are taken away from you, you will not suffer. And when you even have nothing, this is even more easily practicable, because when you have everything, everything is fine. Then you feel like, oh yeah, that I can do this. And this is easy to practice. But when things are taken away from you, that's when you really learn to live in this way where you only source security from the self within, and you live in the total unknown. So whatever phase you may find yourself in, whether it's great abundance or a lack of abundance, regardless, know that your security does not lie in any external measure, external support. Find your safety and security only in the Lord within. And through it, you will find the means that you need to constantly take care of your personal life. Okay? So that is it for chapter 4. If you need any other guidance on this, if you have any question or if you want to share any comment about today's lesson, you can comment using the link below. Beautiful. Have a good day.